let's go to Michigan State, because there is stuff to discuss after that game.
Yeah.
I don't know if they showed this in the bar at the party, but I'm sure you saw it on your phone. The scuffling post game at Michigan. And I mean, I say scuffling. It looked like a bunch of Michigan State players beating up a Michigan player is what the video looked like. And that was Matt Charbonneau from the Detroit News posted that video. And I mean, I'll show it if you're watching the YouTube stream. This is from Matt Charbonneau, the Detroit News, and if you'll be able to hear it also. But if you're watching the YouTube stream, you'll see it. Oh my God. That's a bunch of Michigan State players and one Michigan player, and it was one of the number ones. You can't tell which number one it is on the video, but there's a lot of Michigan State players.
And Jim Harbaugh said after the game that they were assaulted.
He did. We have Ward Manuel. This is Angelique Shingialis from the Detroit News posted this from the press conference. So here's Jim Harbaugh will be the first person you're speaking, and the next person you're speaking will be the athletic director, Ward Manuel.
Locker room, and we started addressing it. And then when the video surfaced.
What happened after the game is completely unacceptable. I've talked to the commissioner. He is looking into it. We have the police are also looking into it because they've seen the video. And so they're addressing it. We will leave it in their hands, but this is not how we should interact after the game. This is not the way another team should grab a player and do what they did. It's completely and utterly unacceptable. We will let Big Ten and law enforcement handle it, but this is not what a rivalry should be about. And it's not how it should be remembered. We won on the field. This man and his team and those players went out there and won. For that to happen is unacceptable. And that's all I'm going to say. I'll leave it to Kevin and law enforcement to handle from here on out.
Could you just say the players so we know who they are?
Guys,
you can look at the video.
Yeah, so they have turned this over to the cops, I guess, and we'll see what happens. This is the second time in a few weeks that there's been action in the tunnel after a Michigan game.
I was just going to say it's kind of ironic because James Franklin and Jim Harbaugh kind of had press conference battling duo quotes on this, and for this to happen so quickly after that, it's just kind of, it's weird.
Well, so there's one tunnel at Michigan Stadium. That is very unusual. Lester Lee on our live chat asked, "Is that normal to have one tunnel?" No, it's not normal. Most teams most stadiums have a home tunnel and a visiting tunnel, and they don't have to cross or wind up going through the same tunnel. Michigan only has the one, but I will say this, because yeah, it's dumb they only have one tunnel, but they've only had one tunnel for 100 years, and it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, I mean, I covered a lot of Ohio State Michigan games, and there's jawing in that tunnel all the time. Like that's part of it. I almost feel like that's part of the charm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you just don't you don't need to gang up on opposing players in the tunnel. Like, period. That's it.
Yeah, there should be no physical violence.
There's another incident, another video floating around too. So it's like this is beyond just trash talking. Yeah, go ahead and trash talk in the tunnel, but no, that's stupid. Especially, look, you just lost. Where was that aggression on the field when you were getting shut out for the last 3 quarters?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's like part of that is kind of a cool thing where like the two teams go through the same tunnel and they're kind of rubbing shoulders before the game. And, trash talk is part of football, Andy, like that's
absolutely,
that's part of the game, and there's plenty of anecdotes of people saying funny things and getting in faces and screaming and hollering and stuff. But when it gets to that point, it's like what Ward Manuel said, it's just like, it's too far. So, it's definitely a shame that that's kind of the story of the game because, the one thought that I had and I wanted to bring to you on the podcast was that absolutely nothing surprising happened on this Saturday, in my opinion. I don't know. Is there a surprising result to you? And
K-State destroying
that was
Oklahoma State the
surprising.
way they did was surprising. Not that they won, but that they won 48-0 was surprising.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But I thought it was a pretty revelatory Saturday in terms of who's really in this thing and who's really good. And it didn't take any upsets to kind of get to that point. So, like, to me, it's just like this Michigan State game was another pillar in terms of what we're learning about these teams. And the fact that we're talking about this is kind of a crappy thing.
It takes away from Michigan absolutely dominating the last 3 quarters of that game. Now, would I've liked to seen them punch in a little bit more from when they got in the red zone? Maybe, but they dominated the back half of that game. Absolutely dominated it.
Yeah, I think it was 7-3 at the end of the first quarter, and then at that point, Michigan State had nothing.
Yeah,
and this Big Ten East battle is going to be really, really good. I think that we learned a lot about Michigan, and maybe we knew all this stuff about Michigan, but we saw it again. I think we learned a little bit about Ohio State, and watching these two teams in November is going to be a hell of a time. And, that to me, I thought was the prevailing theme.